Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Intuition Activation Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica, a spiritual medium and intuitive coach, and I'm so excited that you're here to join me for this intuitive development journey. Hello, guys. I am so excited to be doing a solo episode again. I feel like I haven't done one in a few weeks, and it's always nice to just hop on the mic and share with you guys things that are going on. And it's been a while since we've done a really deep dive into an intuitive development topic. So I'm really excited to hop into that today. And so the theme of today's episode, if you saw the title, is what to do if it feels like your intuition went offline or got quiet. And guys, this is a question I get from my students a lot. They ask me, they were like, I was on a roll. I feel like I was getting a lot of intuitive downloads when I connected with my guides or sat in meditation. Like I was getting so much information, everything was coming through. And now all of a sudden, it's been like a week, and I'm sitting here and I'm in this place where it feels like my spirit guides went for coffee and didn't come back. Or my intuition just feels a whole lot quieter than it normally does. Or when I'm trying to ask questions, everything feels a little fuzzy or a little bit less clear than they usually are. Did I do something wrong? Did my intuition go away? So we're going to talk about that today. So we're going to talk about why this could happen, that your intuition can go offline or get a little quieter, because spoiler alert, it actually is a thing. It is real. It can happen. So we're going to talk about why this could happen and what it is. We're going to talk about what to do and not to do if you're in a moment where your intuition has gone quiet, and how to get back to a place where your intuition feels alive and well again. So we're going to talk about all of those things. And because this is a solo episode, don't forget to stick around to the end, because we're going to do another intuitive development exercise. So yeah, I'm really excited. Let's dive into this topic because yeah, it's definitely something that's happened to me a couple of times. For those of you who know Indra Kelly, who's been on the show a few times, this is definitely something that's happened to her. And usually we'll contact each other when this happens. Is it the energy? Is there something going on globally, or is it just us? So I'm going to give you my take on this, because I want to start by saying at no point ever in your life will your intuition completely go away. Okay. In the same way that your muscles don't just disintegrate and disappear, or your bones don't just disappear, right? It's a part of you. It's innate, it's inherent. You were born with it. Your intuition never totally goes away. So I almost don't want to say that it can go offline, but it's sort of like that idea of your computer can be connected to the internet or not connected to the internet, but the internet's still there, if that makes sense. So the question is, are you connected? And I almost want to say, like, even that feels like too intense. I want to say that instead of saying that you can go offline, I want to say instead that the connection can get fuzzy. So maybe you go from high speed Wi-Fi to dial up, right? Where it just feels a little bit slower. Maybe it's pausing a lot. Maybe it just doesn't feel super clear, super exciting. The information doesn't feel clear. And this can happen for a few reasons. And we're going to definitely talk about that. But I want to just describe, like, what exactly does it feel like to be in a pause like this, to feel like your intuition is kind of offline, because again, it doesn't fully go away. And so what I mean by this is that usually, at least in my experience, you're still able to channel and connect for other people. So if a client were to, and anytime that I've been in a pause like this, or where it feels like my intuition has gotten quieter, I've still never had a problem channeling for clients, channeling for other people, getting divine downloads and messages for somebody else. Because as I've mentioned many times on this podcast, it is actually a whole lot easier to channel for other people than it is for yourself. Sometimes it may require a little bit more effort on the front end. So perhaps you have to get a little quieter than you normally would to connect for somebody else. but you can still usually typically do this. So, like I said, your intuition doesn't go away. Where it gets tricky, and when you're in a place where your intuition may have gone offline, if you will, or gotten quieter, is it may have gotten quieter for yourself. So maybe when you go to call in your spirit guides and ask them a specific question, maybe normally it feels like the downloads are flooding in, the ideas are flooding in. There's a lot of information all at once. It's exciting, there's a lot going on. And then at this phase, it feels like crickets. Like I'm connecting to my guide, but they're not giving me much, or they're not giving me anything at all. And then we get to this place where we start to question, is it me? Did my intuition die? Can I no longer connect anymore? And the answer is no, it didn't. And it's not you. But this can happen. There can be a place where you're kind of been placed on pause by your spirit guides. Okay. So this can also look like maybe when you're doing an automatic writing instead of a channeling session. Again, it feels kind of like it feels a little bit more like I'm journaling rather than someone the pen is taking over. It feels like my spirit guides are a little bit further away than they normally are. Or it can feel like instead of getting lots and lots of information and feeling like I'm having a full on dialogue with my guides, instead it feels like I'm getting just like little drops here and there, little trickles instead of the flood stream that I normally get. It feels like every here now and then I just get like a little whisper from my guides, just a little piece of guidance instead of a whole lot of information. When I try to directly connect with them, again, it feels very quiet. It feels like they're not saying much, or they're giving me one word answers, or it almost feels like they're giving me the cold shoulder. Like, what's going on? Now, your guides are not mad at you when this happens. So, what is going on here when you feel like you've been put on pause, when the information is trickling in rather than pouring or flooding in? You have to put a little bit more effort and get a whole lot quieter when you're trying to connect. Or when you do try to connect, it feels like crickets, nothing. Nothing's coming through unless you're channeling for someone else. And even then, it feels like it requires a little bit more effort. So, what is this? My explanation is there are two potential reasons why you're being put on pause here, or why it feels like your intuition has taken a back seat for some reason, or gone offline, or gotten a lot quieter. Now, the first explanation is I don't know if I wanna say it's the more likely one, definitely the one I've experienced more often, and I'm gonna use, an example to explain. I want you to think about when your phone gets a new program. So when it is downloading some new, what's the word? Software, right? Like it's needing an upgrade, right? And sometimes if you have an Apple phone, right, it like forces you to do an upgrade, right? And you can ignore it so many times, but then eventually it's going to upgrade. And we always ignore it. Why? Because we know that once it downloads the software, it's going to shut down before it starts playing all of the new information in the new software. And so when we do this, or when this is happening, it is a sign that you are going through an energetic or spiritual upgrade. So instead of you downloading new computer software, instead you're downloading new energetic software or intuitive software, or yeah, that's the best way I can describe it, is that you are up leveling in some way. So perhaps there's a really big manifestation that's just around the corner. Perhaps you've been doing a lot of deep work on yourself. Maybe you have done a lot of inner child healing. Maybe you've been doing a lot of subconscious reprogramming. Maybe you've been working really hard to try to train and connect to your intuition in a really deep way. And maybe you've been making a lot of progress doing that. Well, when this happens, you will actually get put on pause for a moment in order to step into another level of intuitive ability, another layer, or another level or version of yourself. Some people might akin this to you're about to jump timelines. That's kind of like a whole other episode in and of itself. What does it mean to jump timelines? But the easiest way I can say it is that there's a lot of things that are going on in the background that you don't have access to, but your guides are hard at work, kind of putting a lot of puzzle pieces together. And a lot of things have to align in perfect divine timing for you to step into this new reality for yourself. And so, even though it feels like your guides aren't talking directly to you in this moment of pause, your guides are working really hard in the background for you to make things happen. And so, I'm going to give you an example of this because the biggest intuitive up level I experienced, well, one of the biggest ones, there were actually two really big ones that I experienced. The first one I experienced was not too far along in my intuitive development journey when I had finally decided that I'm going to do this as a career. I'm going to quit teaching and I'm going to jump into this and this is going to be my thing and I really like I'm ready for this, right? And so at that point, I had just had some very very profound experiences as a developing intuitive. I had just connected to my loved ones who had passed away and received really strong confirmation from my relatives that the information that came through was really, really was valid and nothing that I could have known without having spoken to them directly. I had just connected very deeply and strongly to my guides. I had just received so many signs and messages and synchronicities, so many things for me to believe that this is a thing for me. This is a thing and this is something that I can do. And I had gone very deep into practicing for as many people as I could to channel their spirit guides for them with a lot of success. And so I was at this place where I was feeling really good about my abilities. And then all of a sudden, it felt like everything just went offline. And of course, the very first time this has happened to me, that this is happening to me, I was terrified and thinking, oh my gosh, here I am ready to quit my teaching job, thinking this is something I'm going to do. And it feels like it all just went away. Like, what's happening? I cannot connect for myself. My guides are normally so clear when I meditate. Feel like I'm getting nothing. Thankfully, I had a mentor at the time, and she gave me this exact metaphor of you're just upgrading, you just hit a new level, a new layer of intuitive ability. And she gave me some really good advice of what to do in the meantime. And I'm going to give that same advice to you guys in a moment. But when it did come back online, suddenly the channeling I was doing for other people was so much clearer than it had ever been before. And the channeling I was doing for myself suddenly got way deeper to the point where suddenly it was very easy and very clear to see all of my past lives or many of my past lives. Suddenly I was able to receive downloads and messages in different ways. So at that point, I had only really strongly developed my clairvoyance and only a little bit my clairaudience and had been trying to receive in other ways, asking to strengthen and reactivate my feeling gifts and my hearing gifts and my claircognizance. And after that moment of pause, and it was a few weeks, I would say it was about 2 weeks or so, where it felt like everything kind of went quiet. When everything did sort of come back online, it was like all the other senses got turned on. It felt like my intuition had gotten heightened. Everything felt easier, clearer, faster. The connection was stronger than ever. So that was the very first time that happened. But I want to give the second time that it happened because this one felt significant to me and I think will be most relevant to you guys. Now, the second time that I felt like I was put on an intuitive pause, if you will, if my intuition went quiet, was actually when I was in my final trimester of being pregnant with my first son, Noah. Now, some people say that this can be common for somebody who is pregnant because you are so connected to the energy of the soul that is coming through you. And I don't know if that's true, but potentially that's what it was. But I will say that up until that point, for the first, 6 or 7 months of that pregnancy, I was very clearly having a lot of communication with my son Noah. And his guide, and even that felt like it went offline. All of a sudden, I wasn't hearing him at all, and he wasn't talking to me at all, whereas the messages he was telling me at the earlier stages of the pregnancy were very clear and later on proved to be very, very true. So it felt like everything went quiet, and at that time, I was working as a medium full time, and I was channeling for clients, and I was terrified every time I was about to get online with a client because I felt like everything was so quiet. And although I was able to channel for those clients, it did require a lot more energy and effort than it had ever had for me before. And it wasn't until I was already 3 to 4 months postpartum after giving birth to Noah. So it was almost, I wanna say, a 5 or 6-month period where it felt like my intuition had gotten really quiet. Yeah, and it didn't go away, but it definitely got quiet. And when I was about 3 or 4 months postpartum, so Noah was about 4 months old, all of a sudden, I felt the day that it went back on because I just received a floodgate of information from my guides, and it all came through. It was not with me. I didn't have to sit in meditation and call my guides in. It was like one day, I don't even know if I was out walking the dog. I think I was just sitting at home with the baby, and all of this information came through. All of these intuitive downloads about the next steps for my business and the next thing I needed to do. And I needed to make my Meet Your Spirit Guides course and how I was going to film it and what that was going to look like and what my next steps for my business was and which business coach to work with. And all of this information about my business came through and stuff about my personal life as well. And the excitement that it came with and the vigor that it came with and the urge to act on all of those ideas was so strong. Guys, I was 4 months postpartum, and that was when I recorded my Meet Your Spirit Guides course, okay? 4 months postpartum with my first baby, and I was like, "I cannot sit down. I cannot not put this into the world right now." And I hired a babysitter to come and watch Noah so I could sit down and record my Meet Your Spirit Guides course, even though I was on mat leave technically. I wasn't even channeling for clients at that moment in time, but it was just so powerful, so strong. It was all I could do but take action on that information. And the reason that I bring this up is because if you feel like this is you right now, if you feel like you've been put on a spiritual pause, if you will, or an intuitive pause, then chances are all of the information is going to come through in the perfect moment, in the perfect time. And when it does, you're going to take a lot of action. And until then, maybe you don't need to do so much. And so, and I'm going to give again a little bit more advice as to what to do when you're in this phase, what to do and what not to do. But that has always been my experience of there's definitely this moment of pause. It's like a divine pause, the calm before the storm, if you will. But it's a good storm because when it goes back online, everything feels clearer and stronger and more powerful than it ever has. And I'm going to be very vulnerably honest with you guys. I have been put on this pause once again. And I'm sitting in that place at this very moment as I record this podcast. I'm in a place of an intuitive pause where I'm connecting with, I'm having all these questions about what to do next, where I want to go with my God, what I want to do with my business, what I want to do with my life, and, where we want to live, and a whole bunch of other things. And normally, when I ask my guides these things, the clarity is very strong. My connection with my guides is often very clear. And right now, there's just this very calm pause, this very calm quiet. And because I've been through this before, I know that the answers are going to come through and they're going to come through with vigor and absolute clarity, but not yet. And all I have to do at this moment is ground down and wait for the wave to hit, for the wave to come. And then I can ride that wave and take action on that wave. And so it's interesting. And I've been sitting in this place of quiet where my intuition feels a little bit more quiet than it has been before. It's been almost a month now, you guys, that I've been sitting in this place of feels a little duller. But I'm not questioning my ability to channel. I'm still easily and happily channeling for other clients. Yes, I have to do a little bit deeper of a meditation than I typically do, but I'm getting the information for other people so I can still run my business and I can still do the energy forecast for you guys. Again, it's only when it's coming to myself. And a lot of the times I wonder if it's because we're not meant to know. If the information came in before I'm ready to hear it, I'm going to stress about it. I'm going to worry about the logistics. I'm going to worry about how I'm going to make these things happen. And my guides are taking care of it. It's all happening in the background. They're doing the work that I don't need to know about. And when the timing is right, I will ride the wave and I will move forward into this place. And so that's where I'm sitting right now. And so if you're in this place, welcome, come and join me. I think it's very much in line with the July energy forecast that just came out last week or earlier this week. And, there's this place of shift. And I know that I'm shifting definitely in a lot of different ways, mentally, physically, spiritually, business wise, health wise, otherwise, like a lot of things are shifting for me right now. And so I'm just letting those shifts happen in the background and it'll be made clear to me when the timing is right. So that's one reason that you could be put on pause and that you could have it feels like your intuition is going online offline is that you're about to go through a really big spiritual and energetic upgrade. The only other reason that I can sort of think of that might feel like your intuition is going on pause is that you are very stressed out. Now, if you're very stressed or in a very stressful situation, it can be very, very hard to disconnect from your chattery thoughts, from your monkey mind, if you will, from your anxiety and from judgment of yourself and and the felt judgment of others and the situation that you're in. And so in that sense, in that case, if you're in a very stressful situation or you're feeling a consistent, pumping of cortisol through your veins, I would say that your intuition maybe hasn't gone away, but rather is just more difficult to access. And I'm going to tell you that in that moment, what you're going to have to do is it's not the same. I guess let's say it's not the same as what you would do if you're just about to go through an upgrade. Instead, it's really important to make sure that you pay attention to your health, make sure that you're taking care of yourself, make sure you're doing whatever it is that you can to get back to the status quo, to move away from this place of stress. It's instead of being put on pause by your guides, you almost have to put yourself on pause. If you're feeling very stressed, you're going to have to try to go inward. You're going to have to try to stop making decisions from a place of fear. You're going to have to do whatever you can to cultivate moments of relaxation and self care. You're going to have to come home to yourself. Start leaning into things that are in alignment for you. Start asking yourself, what would feel good for me in my body at this moment? It's not that you're disconnected to your intuition so much as you're disconnected from your body. You're disconnected from your highest self and your authenticity. And so if you are very, very stressed, it is going to feel like your intuition went offline, but it's not because a big manifestation is on the other side. It's quite the opposite. Your manifestations can't come through if you're so out of alignment that you're feeling this much anxiety and stress. And so then it's really your job to move away from this place of fear, to move towards a personal pause, a self-imposed pause, and get some quiet, take some time off, go inward, and focus on self-care. That is really, really important so that your intuition can come back online, that you can be in a place where you're not so living in a space of fear that all you hear is your chattery thoughts and your monkey mind. Okay. But what happens if you're in a spiritual pause? Your guides are working in the background and you're needing to kind of jump back in, or you're wanting to reconnect with your intuition. It feels like it's very quiet. The thing I'm going to tell you is probably going to be endlessly frustrating. But if you are on an energetic pause, it feels like your intuition has been placed on pause or very quiet. The most important thing to do in this period of time is nothing. And I know that's terrifying. And for many of us, that's not how we operate. Surely we really want to take action. We feel like, but what about my business? Or how am I supposed to make money? Or what am I supposed to do? And what's my next step? And I need to make a decision about this and make a decision about that. Do none of it. This is a time where you cannot be making big decisions because everything is about to shift. Things that are unexpected are going to come through. And if you make decisions now, you're going to have to change them or backpedal anyway. All you can do in this moment is maintain the status quo. So continue to show up in your business the way that you always have if you have a business, right? Not everybody listening here has a business, so sorry. I'm just almost reminding myself. But continue to show up in your life in the way that you always have. Meet your friends if it feels aligned, take care of your family as needed, right? Do the self-care things. You don't have to be particularly extra indulgent. You don't have to do anything, but this is not the time to start something new. This is not the time to make any big life-changing decisions. This is not the time to do anything that is going to have to that is going to make any change in your life, essentially. Keep the status quo. Now, what I'm noticing in this particular version of my spiritual pause, if you will, is that every once in a while I do still receive little tiny breadcrumbs. So little intuitive hits, little whispers, if you will, that are coming through. They catch me off guard. They're happening not because I'm calling in my guides. So, because when I try to call in my guides, as I said, it's very quiet. They just keep telling me, not yet. We'll update you later. Not yet. Not ready to share with you yet. But when I was doing the dishes last night, for example, a little idea came in and it was like a little zing and it came in and it lit me up and it was a wonderful idea and I really liked it. I even shared it with my husband and I'm not going to take action on it just yet. So if you're in this pause and the little download comes in, there's usually no other information that comes with it. No hows, no next right steps, just what about this? And all I'm doing right now is simply writing it down, taking note of it, knowing that the time will come when I need to have my call to action, my time to actually take action on these ideas. It will come. I'll know because it'll be like everything in me cannot resist but to take action on this thing. Right now, this thing that came in felt exciting, but I know that it's not right yet because it also didn't make a whole lot of sense. So it came in, I went, that would be so cool. And I'm not meant to do anything with that right now, except write it down. So I did. I wrote it down in my journal. And I'm trusting that there will be a time where all of the next right steps are going to come flooding in. And I'm going to know exactly what to do when. And I'm going to dive in with both feet. And it's going to feel really good and really right and really easy. And, oh, so yeah, if you are in this place of a pause, an intuitive pause, an energetic pause, a spiritual upgrade or up level, if you will. The best advice I can give you really is to hold back on doing the big things, making any big decisions, and follow the breadcrumbs if and as they come through. But don't necessarily take action on them unless you feel compelled to do so until it's very abundantly clear. And you are in this space where it feels like the tide is going out before the wave comes back in. And just be reassured that the wave will come and you will ride it and you will feel so compelled to take action and jump into and dive in with both feet on the thing that comes through or several things, and you'll have such an intense amount of clarity when it does come. And in the meantime, you just sort of maintain status quo. And so that's what I'm doing at this moment. And I wish I could give you a timeline for how long these pauses usually last. As I said, I've been through a couple before, and they've been different periods of time, one being just a couple of weeks, the other one being several months. And I've been on this one for at least a month now. And so I don't know. Know that your intuition didn't go away, but it's just that things are working in the background for you. And the clarity will come when it's the right time for you to know. So, yeah, that's all I really have to share for you in this episode. It's a little bit of a quicker one, but I did want to address this issue because I have several people who have reached out to me and asked me to share a little bit more on this topic. So I'm hoping that was helpful. And I do want to say at the end of the day that just know that your intuition never, ever completely shuts down or goes completely offline. But there will be moments in your life when you are growing and changing and shifting, and it may get a little bit quieter for a short period of time. And either way, just know that it means that your guides have something big planned for you and that all of the puzzle pieces are just working to click into place in the background. And once they are, all of the downloads will come flooding back in and streaming into your life. And just hold on and get excited because when they do, just beautiful things happen on the other side of that. And so I have learned now to get excited by these intuitive pauses, these energetic pauses, because it's a pause before an upgrade and an up level. And at this time in my life, I truly, truly have no idea where it's going to lead. But I'm just holding on and waiting to see kind of what comes through. And so if you're in this place with me, you're not alone. Definitely, it's very aligned with what the July energy forecast was, which was that a lot of us are shifting globally. The world is shifting energetically. There's a shift. And so if this month it feels like your intuition maybe got a little duller, got a little more quiet, it's all good. You're right on the other side of a big shift and a big up level. And that's really exciting. So I'm excited for you. All right, you guys, because this is a solo episode, we are going to do a little intuitive development exercise. Now, I wanted to change it up a little bit because normally when we do this exercise, I'll usually hold an object and walk you through a meditation for you to figure out what that object is or for you to be able to see what that object is. And I wanted to change it up a little just to offer you a different experience. And so yesterday was Canada Day here in Canada. And so it's a national holiday, so we get the day off work. And my family and I, we did something very special for this holiday, for the day off. And we spent some time as a family doing something. That's all I'm going to share with you. And I'm going to walk you through a meditation. And I want you guys to channel what is it that I did with my family yesterday for the holiday. And it's so recent and it already happened. There was only one right answer for what we did yesterday. And I'm hoping that you'll be able to I'll walk you through a visualization and you'll be able to see what it is that we did. And then you can reach out to me with the answer over Instagram and I will share with you exactly what we did yesterday for Canada Day in next week's episode. So I'm going to ask you to, if you are not driving or moving in any way, to please take a minute to close your eyes. I'm going to walk you through this little meditation. So I'm going to ask you to start by taking a few deep breaths together into your nose and out through your mouth with an open mouth, powerful sigh. So deep breath in and let it go. Relaxing your chest and deep breath in and let it go. Dropping your shoulders, deep breath in and let it go. Dropping everything down. And one more deep breath in and let it go. And I want you to imagine that you're sitting on the grass in front of a beautiful little bonfire. There's a million stars in the sky and a beautiful crescent moon shining down. See yourself completely surrounded by beautiful, luscious green trees and feeling a cool, gentle breeze against your skin and hearing the sound of the wind as it gently flows through the branches all around you. Feeling the grass cool and soft and squishy beneath your legs as you settle in. You feel calm, refreshed, and at peace here. Taking another deep breath in and out. Now feeling yourself getting comfortable and sitting cross-legged in front of this fire. Taking a moment to gaze into the beautiful oranges, ambers, and reds and yellows of the fire. Feeling the warmth and glow of the fire warm up your face and see the glow of it behind your closed eyelids. And now seeing yourself reach your hands towards the fire and feeling a warm, tingling sensation begin to tingle and spread across your fingertips, over your fingers, your palms, and your wrists. And as the fire continues to warm up your body with your eyes closed, you feel a warm, gentle glow begin to cover and surround your body, as if you are suddenly surrounded by a golden aura of light. See it glow a little brighter, feel your body get a little warmer, feeling every inch of your body begin to tingle with this beautiful golden light that surrounds your whole body. Feeling every part of your body begin to soften and melt in the glow and warmth of the light from these flames. Feeling your shoulders drop a little more and your chest and belly expand a little easier. You feel calm, surrounded, warm, and at peace here. Take another deep breath in and out. And as you sit beside this fire, take a moment to gaze into this beautiful, warm fire. And as you gaze into the dancing flames, you begin to witness, as if you were gazing upon a crystal ball. You witness a vision of me and my family, me with my husband Ellie and my sons Noah and Benny on Canada Day, spending time together. Take a moment to notice the energy behind how we feel. Feeling that feeling of warm sunshine and happiness and calm that surrounds us. See us interacting with each other. Feeling that peace and calm that comes when a family spends time together without the bounds of time or restrictions of time. And now gazing further into this image and noticing the scenery. Where are we? Are there other people around us? Or is it just our family, the four of us? Does it feel loud and exciting, or warm and calm and soothing and quiet? Fun and bubbly or calm and relaxing? Take a moment to lean into the energy. And now lean into what it is that we are doing. How are we spending our time together? What did we do for the majority of this day? See if you can look around and see the scenery. Where are we? See if you can see what we are doing in this place. How we are passing our time together. Lean into it. Feel that warm summer day. And notice how the four of us are spending time together. Okay. And so when you get this answer for yourself, I want you to try and get it in twofold. Where were we and what were we doing? Lean into the energy if it felt fast paced or slow, fun and exciting or calm and soothing, and the energy of where we were, and see what you get. And I will give you guys the answer for what we did for Canada Day in next week's episode. So be sure to tune in next week. And otherwise, that's all I have for you guys for this week. I hope you're having a beautiful July, a beautiful summer, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye, you guys.